Okay, get this. What if your favorite cheese could be healthier for you, better for the planet, and help fight food waste all at the same time? I know, it sounds like a pretty tall order, but today we're diving into some amazing new research that's doing exactly that by supercharging cheese with a very, very surprising ingredient. And look, this isn't just some wild idea I'm throwing out there. The whole blueprint for this comes directly from a fascinating new study, the one you see right here, published in the Turkish Journal of Agriculture and Forestry. So let's get into it and break down what they found out. So what's the big problem this research is even trying to solve? Well, it's actually two problems rolled into one, and it sits right where our own health meets the health of the entire planet. I mean, really think about this for a second. What if cheese, your favorite cheese, wasn't just delicious? What if it could actually be working to improve your health while also tackling a huge food waste problem? Okay, so here's the deal. You've got two major things happening at once. First, people like us are looking for healthier foods, sometimes called functional foods. And at the same time, the wine industry is producing this massive amount of byproduct called Grape Pomace. And get this, it accounts for up to a quarter of the original grape wheat, and most of it just gets thrown out. So you've got these two big challenges. How do you possibly solve both at once? Well, the researchers behind this study had this really clever plant-powered idea. Now, before we go any further, let's just quickly break down that term functional foods. It's pretty simple, really. We're not just talking about calories or basic vitamins here. These are foods that are tweaked to give you health benefits beyond basic nutrition, maybe even helping to lower your risk of certain diseases. And that was the goal here. All right, so let's meet the heroes of our story. On one side, you've got elderberry powder. This stuff is a total powerhouse, packed with antioxidants. And on the other side, grape pomace powder. Yep, that's the waste we were just talking about. Turns out, it's not waste at all. It's loaded with its own antioxidants and tons of dietary fiber. The idea was to take these two and put them to work. Okay, so this is where it gets really cool. How on earth did they actually do this? How do you get these powders inside a wheel of cheese? Well, the process starts out pretty much like you'd expect. You get the milk, you form the curds, you separate the whey. But then, right here at step 4, that's where the magic happens. This is the fortification step. Right before they press the cheese, they mix in the powders at different levels, 1, 2, or 3%. After that, it's business as usual, pressing, salting, and aging. All right, so they did all this work, but did it, work? Was the cheese actually better for you? Let's check out the results. Oh yeah, a big yes. Check this out. Adding the powders boosted the total phenolic compounds, those are the really good antioxidants, by more than 700% compared to the regular cheese. That is not just a little bump, that is a massive nutritional upgrade. And this chart just shows it so clearly. You see the regular cheese on the left, its antioxidant activity is pretty low, but as you add the powders, boom, the activity just shoots through the roof. This means the cheese is way better at helping your body fight off what's called oxidative stress, which is tied to all kinds of health problems. Okay, but a really important question, right? Is it safe to eat? I mean, you're adding new stuff to cheese, and the answer is absolutely. They ran all the tests, they checked for things like E. coli and salmonella, and found nothing. Everything was perfectly safe, well within all the limits, no problems at all. So, we've ticked the boxes, it's healthier, it's more sustainable, but let's be real, there's one question that trumps everything else. How did it taste? Well, this quote from the study pretty much says it all. They had a whole panel of trained tasters try it out, and you know what? They had a clear favorite. And kind of surprisingly, it wasn't the one packed with the most powder. The big winner was the cheese with just a 1% addition. Yup, that little 1% batch was the one. A panel of 30 tasters rated it the highest across the board, for overall enjoyment, for its aroma, for its flavor. It really seems that a little bit of this stuff went a long way, hitting that perfect balance without overpowering the classic cheese taste. It's a perfect example of how sometimes less really is more. So let's zoom out a bit. What does this all mean? Because this isn't just about one fancy cheese. This single experiment points toward a much bigger and, honestly, a much smarter future for the food we all eat. Here's why this matters so much. First, it's a blueprint for creating healthier foods that people actually want. Second, it shows us how we can take something we thought was trash and turn it into treasure. That's upcycling in action. It's a real win-win for sustainability. And finally, it just cracks the door wide open for all sorts of new innovations in this world of functional foods.
It really gets you thinking, doesn't it? If we can supercharge cheese this effectively, of all things, what's next? What other everyday food in your fridge is just sitting there, waiting for its own brilliant reinvention?